imagine sitting in the freezing water, waiting for somebody to rescue you? That's what 1,400 survivors had to endure, but they were the lucky ones. Hello, my name is Neil Raymond, and I'm here to inform you why the sinking of the SS Leopoldville was such a tragedy. First, we'll discuss the loading and the improper safety briefings the troops received, the sinking and the rescue efforts, and then finally, the aftermath. To start, we must begin with the loading of the troops into the Leopoldville. On the night of 24 December, in Southampton, England, after their Christmas dinner was cut short, 2,200 troops were loaded into the SS Leopoldville. A converted Belgian passenger liner. There were no orderly fashion on how the troops were loaded into the boat. This caused confusion. And then once on board, they realized the PA system was malfunctioning, so many of the troops didn't hear the call to come on deck to receive the safety briefings. These safety briefings would discuss on how to use lifeboats properly and the proper wear of the life jackets. The loading and lack of safety is a start to this tragedy. And now let's discuss how the ship was sunk and the rescue efforts. The Leopoldville started to cross the English Channel like it had done 24 times before, with the escort of 3 battleships, but this time would be different. A U-boat, the U-48, was sitting 5.5 miles off the shores of Cherbourg, France, the destination of Leopoldville, when a torpedo hit the right rear compartment, killing 300 troops. And this began the series of events. The crew dropped anchor so the boat wouldn't drift anymore, and then abandoned the ship. The remainder of the troops began to make their way to the top side, but without being briefed on how to properly use the lifeboats, all they could do was wait. They were waiting for rescue from Cherbourg, but because this was Christmas Eve, most of the personnel were tied up at Christmas parties, so the wait was long. One of the escort ships came beside the boat to take on troops, but the seas were heavy, and most of the troops that tried to jump on board ended up falling to their deaths into the water. The Leopold began to sink into the 28-degree water. Now, the water and the lack of safety briefings started to play a part. The troops, not knowing how to properly enter the water, jumped in with full gear. This caused the life jackets to hit them in the head and cause for them to not get knocked out or end up dying. That day, 746 troops lost their lives. The survivors rescued, there were better times to come. The aftermath for the 1,400 survivors, some might say, was a blessing. For it was rumored they were supposed to be reinforcements for the Battle of the Bulge, one of the deadliest battles of World War II. Instead, they ended up doing the remainder of the war in Lorceret and St. Nazareth, where there was very little bit of combat. Only 43 other troops ended up losing their lives during the remainder of the war, according to the documentary Cover Up: The Sinking of the SS Leopoldville. All the parties of the sinking resulted in many deaths. In conclusion, I've discussed with you the sinking of the SS Leopoldville, from the loading of the troops through the sinking and the aftermath. With all that said, I hope you have a better understanding of the sinking of the SS Leopoldville.